Namaste. A very good morning to all. SPIC MACAY SVNIT welcomes you all to Swaranjali, a Sarod concert by Ustad Alam Khan Ji. We are very grateful to Alam Khan Ji for accepting our invitation and being here with us for a melodious morning. I extend my warm welcome to all present here. Firstly, we will be having a small orientation of SPIC MACAY SVNIT, which will be followed by the concert and an interactive session with Ustad Alam Khan Ji. Before moving forward, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Shri Arun Bharatram, who is the founder and chairman of SRF Limited. Along with that, he is also the governing member at Society for Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture, that is SPIC MACAY. SRF has been a strong pillar for SPIC MACAY's various events by sponsoring various events and SPIC MACAY activities. It is indeed a great honor for us to have you with us today, sir. I request Amit Rai sir, who is the Gujarat State Coordinator of SPIC MACAY, to welcome Mr. Arun Bharatram on this occasion.
Namaste. Am I audible, Arohi?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Thank you, and good morning to all of you. Namaste to Arunji. I think Rashmi ji is also here. We have Shushma ji also here. We have senior volunteers from SVNIT. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you, Arun sir, on this concert. दो बातें जो मेरी जहन में उभर के आती है और जो मैं आप सब लोगों के साथ साझा करना चाहता हूं। पहली बात तो ये कि अरुण जी खुद एक गहरे संगीतज्ञ हैं और आपने अपने इतने व्यस्त कार्यक्रम से इस कार्यक्रम में आने का जो ये समय निकाला है उसके लिए बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद। और ये निश्चय तौर पर हमारे युवाओं के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी क्या कहना चाहिए सीख है कि कैसे संगीत से जुड़ा रहा जा सकता है, चाहे वो कोई भी पोजीशन पे आदमी हो। तो बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद। Second, I would like to extend my deep gratitude to you for supporting the events across India since many years for SPIC MACAY. We also in Gujarat are conducting a lot of SRF activities under LACDEM series of SPIC MACAY, and for that I extend my deep gratitude and sincere thanks to you, sir, and welcome to you on this concert. Thank you. Namaste. Over to you, Arohi.
Thank you, sir. Now moving ahead, let's begin with the orientation program.
Namaste. Culture and creativity manifest themselves in almost all our daily activities. Our country, India, is symbolized by the plurality of its culture, shared values, goals, and practices. We are a nation that has world's one of the largest collection of performing arts, music, literature, traditions, and paintings, which is the intangible cultural heritage of humanity.
With the aim of conserving and spreading our rich culture and heritage, a nationwide movement was launched by Dr. Kiran Seth in 1977 and today has chapters all around the world.
Society for Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst Youth, popularly known as SPIC MACAY, is a non-profit, non-political, voluntary youth movement. It seeks to protect and promote awareness of our heterogeneous cultural tapestry amongst the youth of our nation, with its primary focus in classical arts, with their legends, rituals, philosophy, and mythology.
SPIC MACAY is an attempt to expose students to a way of life inspired by people who have dedicated their lives towards Indian classical music, beautiful art forms, and our glorious heritage. We cherish the idea of single-minded devotion to the nation, celebrating the unity in diversity.
With the undying support of our artists, SPIC MACAY has soared to new heights, reaching higher day by day. Thanks to the individual institutions for coming together and materializing our efforts to reach out to the youth. Mahatma Gandhi rightly says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. From coordinating the events to coordinating the stage. Our volunteers are the driving force, the backbone, and the life of SPIC. Supporters form an integral part of our SPIC family. And it is because of you that SPIC has been able to enlighten the world with the richness of Indian culture.
In 2011, SPIC MACAY was awarded the Rajiv Gandhi Sadbhavna Award in recognition of its contribution to youth development.
SPIC MACAY is supported by various ministries of the Indian government, namely the Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and the HID Ministry.
Internationally, SPIC MACAY is recognized and supported by Rikskonsten in Norway and Goethe Institute, Germany. Both are well-established cultural organizations.
Wondering what is the eye in our logo represents? The SPIC MACAY logo is the vertical eye representing inner wisdom, perception, and inquiry to look at life and deep element of truth, to take on the inward journey towards perfection.
Every year, we at SPIC MACAY conduct more than 5,000 programs
In more than 1,500 institutions
across almost 1,000 cities,
touching over 3 million students, which are organized with the help of thousands of volunteers from the different spheres of life.
From classical to folk art form, to the cinema, theatres, heritage walk, and talk with eminent, inspiring personalities, SPIC MACAY covers a variety of aspects in our activities. During the COVID-19 crisis, SPIC MACAY come up with Anubhav series, an effort to connect teenagers and youth online with the best of classical art form.
In the volunteering journey of SPIC MACAY, we get an opportunity to interact with many great performers of cultural dances and music. And we also get benefit from their experiences. Apart from this, we get to learn how to conduct events and manage the inner working of the clubs.
Keeping up with this noble cause of SPIC MACAY, we at SPIC MACAY SVNIT work throughout the year to provide a platform for the college students to know our diverse traditional art forms and indulge themselves and practice our rich culture. Every year, we publish our magazine Mimamsa. This magazine is an ode to the spirit of our volunteers and a collection of all we have achieved and learned throughout the year.
Namaste. I'm Radhika and I recently passed out from SVNIT and have been volunteering for SPIC MACAY since 4 years. So SPIC MACAY has not only taught me about time management, organizational skills, speaking skills, but most importantly opened my eyes to our own culture and roots. So volunteering with SPIC MACAY gives you an experience you will cherish forever as you realize how important it is for the youth of our country to be aware of the greatness and benefits of our own culture. So I would like to share a little anecdote with you all in this regard. So last year, during a similar concert we organized for our orientation session, it was a Carnatic flute concert. In the middle of the concert, a child very innocently asked on a YouTube chat that, what is this kind of music called? What do I search on YouTube to listen to this kind of music? So moments like these have made me realize about the importance of SPIC MACAY, and each and every child deserves to know about our culture. And this is what SPIC MACAY is trying so hard to do since the past 44 years. So please do join SPIC MACAY and volunteer for it. Thank you.
Being a volunteer at SPIC MACAY has not only provided me with a promising skill set, but it has also gifted me with a better version of myself. There is no reciprocation in the selfless service. It's an endless journey, an endless cycle of efforts. And honestly, learning this was scary to me at first, but gradually I realized how this applies to our lives as well. Starting from learning patience and perseverance to inculcating humbleness and confidence in myself. The journey with SPIC MACAY has been a treasure that I will cherish for a life.
if you want to showcase your hidden talent and you love Indian music and culture, then this is the right place for you. From learning about various traditional art forms by renowned artists across India to getting a chance to interact. I am interested in Indian classical music and sing different rags, and SPIC MACAY allowed me to showcase the same. SPIC MACAY exponentially increased my love for Indian traditional music and culture. Also, it is a great platform which connects you with the roots of our culture. Hence, I encourage you all to be a part of this wonderful family.
My name is Giren Osura. In my first year, I attended Swaranjali, a flute concert by Subramaniam Ji. This year, I attended Tabla, Hindustani vocal workshop by Kumar Madhuji. It was very insightful experience for me. The SPIC MACAY chapter published its annual magazine, Himsa. It was a beautiful combination of Indian heritage and our colorful culture. I enjoyed reading it. So thank you, SPIC MACAY, for everything.
I participated in Hindustani vocal workshop Ragam conducted by SPIC MACAY SVNIT. It gave me deep insights about Indian classical music, which was a learning experience for me. The interaction with well-known artist Kumar Madhurji was a great opportunity as well. I truly admire the initiative taken by SPIC MACAY and the creation of one YouTube series named Support the Artist. In this series, the club has tried to help the artists who are facing some economical crisis in these present COVID times. It was indeed a great contribution towards the society.
Namaste. In SVNIT, SPIC MACAY organizes various events, which includes movie screening of some well-crafted films under SPIC MACAY's Cinema Classic module, melodious and mesmerizing concerts, insightful talks, and our annual event Virasat. Organizing these events not only helps the volunteers to inculcate management skills, but also provides an opportunity to interact with some of the greatest artists of India while hosting them. We have organized various such successful events in the past, and here are some glimpses of it. Practicing and indulging in Indian classical music helps to inculcate discipline and self-introspection in an individual. Hence, recently during October 2021, we organized Ragram, which was a Hindustani classical music workshop by renowned artist Kumar Madhurji. We were indeed overwhelmed by the enthusiasm shown by the students to learn more about our Indian art forms.
At the beginning of year 2021, SPIC MACAY SVNIT organized Dharohar. It was an online talk session on the history and restoration of Surat Fort. It is rightly said that knowing one's roots helps one to connect better with one's inner self. And this event indeed proved to bring the students of SVNIT closer to the rich heritage of Surat city, where SVNIT is located. Further, in the year of 2020, as a part of a similar orientation program for the fresher students of SVNIT, we organized a flute concert by Maestro Shri Shashank Subramaniam. This event was widely attended by many students, some of whom were new to experiencing classical music for the first time and had an unforgettable experience.
Virasat, the annual event of SPIC MACAY SVNIT, is conducted every year during the event semester. As a part of this tradition, SPIC MACAY SVNIT organized Virasat 2020, a journey towards our roots, which was a 5-day-long series of evening concerts. Artists from all over India, including recipients of prestigious awards like the Grammy, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Shri, graced the occasion. Virasat 2020 was indeed a celebration of Indian culture. For more information about our activities, connect with us on our social media handles. Thank you.
I hope this video was informative for all of you. Moving ahead with the concert, it is a great honor for us to introduce and welcome welcome Alam Khan Ji, son of the legendary Sarod maestro Ali Akbar Khan. Alam Khan Ji has been touching the hearts of audiences worldwide for many years. Since his youth, Alam Khan Ji has performed around the world and has developed into a virtuosic Sarodist as well as a genre-bending composer and innovator, blending different musical styles, cultures, and moods. Alam Khan Ji's performance career started when he began accompanying his father on stage internationally, wherein they played in prestigious venues like the Royal Albert Palace, the Dover Music Festival in Calcutta, New York Lincoln Center Jazz Festival, as well as highly acclaimed concerts all over the United States, Canada, Europe, and India. Along with accompanying his esteemed father, Alamji's solo career began in 1998. Since then, he has been touring the entire world and has established himself as Ali Akbar Khan's true hire and the face of a new generation of Sarod players, attracting praise and attention from musical icons such as sitar legend Ravi Shankar, Ustad Vilayat Khan, Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, Pandit Buddhadev Das Gupta, and many more of India's finest musicians. Alam Khan Ji has had the privilege of performing alongside some of India's greatest artists in highly reputed venues, including the Doverley Music Festival, Saptak, Darbar Festival, the San Francisco World Music Festival, the Chicago World Music Festival, and many more. He is also a member and a primary composer of the world music group Grand Tapestry. Alamji, following his father's wishes, is now the teacher of advanced instrumental classes at the Ali Akbar College of Music and has dedicated his life to preserving, performing, and teaching music to the world. Indeed, we are very honored that we have a maestro like Alam Khan Ji with us today. For today's concert, Alam Khan Ji is accompanied by Eman Hashimi, who is a US-based tabla player and comes from a rich musical family. Iman ji began his tabla studies at the age of 8 under his father, Turialai Hashimi of the Punjab Gharana, and later became a student of Pandit Swapan Chaudhary. It is indeed a great pleasure to have you with us, sir. A very warm welcome on behalf of the entire team. It is also a pleasure that we have with us the Director of SVNIT, Professor R.V. Rao. Sir, we thank you for sparing your valuable time with us, and I request you to share a few words and to welcome our guest, Mr. Arun Bharatram, and grace the occasion.
Thank you. And Darshil, you are able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. If I am not audible, please inform me.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Yes, our dignitaries Arun Bharatram ji, Amit Rai Maheshwari ji, and Sutar Jacob ji, and all other young friends and volunteers of this SPIC MACAY chapter of SVNIT, and all those who are concerned with this program, very good morning. And this society, SPIC MACAY, I know since a long time. Since a long time I know this. And this is the Society for Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst youth. And of course, it is a long name, but very meaningful. But I just doubt how many youngsters they know the meaning of this SPIC MACAY, complete full form of SPIC MACAY. So first of all, my request to these young friends who are actively participating in this SPIC MACAY, they understand what is the full form of SPIC MACAY also, and I hope they know it, but those who are not knowing, please try to know it. And here, this is related to classical music and I think culture, classical music and culture. And arts, it is related to arts, and Dr. Kiran said he started this movement in 1977, and it has gained momentum as one of the youngster in that orientation program. He was informing that about 5,000 programs they get conducted every year in 1,500 institutions across many hundreds of cities. That is a good sign. That is a good sign. And of course, there are pillars for this SPIC MACAY. The first pillar we can say artists. And the second pillar, as we understand, the institutions where these programs are conducted, and the volunteers and the supporters like our Arun Bhartramji. So with their support, this Speak Make is going on as a, we can say, a big movement, and mostly, of course, restricted to India, but it is there in other parts of the world also. They are also actively participating in these activities. Now, here one point which I want to emphasize, that is, we talk about cultural heritage, tradition, Indian ethos, that, this, that. But actually, really, we really follow these traditions and ethos. Let us introspect ourselves. Let us introspect ourselves, because yeah, we may tell many things to others, but we know about ourselves. We know about ourselves. We ask our heart what we are. We ask our soul what we are. And what I am seeing, that many youngsters are, they are not knowing about our history. Indian history also they are not knowing. And they, of course, their obvious answer is what to do with the history. Live at the present moment and think about the future. Yes, their idea is correct. Their idea is correct. But at the same time, they should know about the history, because that gives the ideas. What was our history? What our ancestors were? What they did? Where they went wrong? Where they became successful? So we can learn lessons. We can learn lessons from the history, so that we can move forward. We can move forward without doing such mistakes, and discovering or inventing the new ways of reaching the success levels. So that is why the youth, they have to learn the history also. And this Pikmeke, of course, through classical music, and they are trying to, of course, the move the youth towards understanding of Indian, particularly here Hindustani classical music. But it should not be restricted to music only. The culture, what culture we are following now. I am here in our SVNIT since long time, since many years, as a teacher. Of course, I came in 2006 directly as a professor, and from Jammu and Kashmir. And since all these years, I am seeing there is a lot of change that is occurring in the youngsters, and now I feel that these type of programs now Speak Make SVNIT student chapter is organizing this, but I don't think that it is sufficient. Just arranging programs by eminent artists, that is definitely useful. That is definitely useful and inspiring, motivational to the youth. But at the same time, why don't we conduct similar programs by ourselves? Because the famous artists, they have their valuable time and they are doing selfless service they are doing, because that is the, I think, principle of Speak Make. Speak Make celebrates that Nishkam Seva, and that Nishkam Seva our artists are doing. Our artists are doing. Why not our own students? Let our students conduct these programs at our institute level, so that because we have 5,500 students in the campus, and now let me just to see, we are 105 participants now in this. 105, including me and, of course, some the dignitaries. And so then out of 5,500, you imagine 100 participants. This is a good sign as far as nowadays the trend is concerned. But actually, if we are really interested in our Indian culture, traditions, ethos, and all, and we should conduct many programs. We should make aware, that what we are. Not simple. Now you see, I am 100% sure. Now instead of Hindustani classical music concert, suppose it is some Western concept or Western music or something like that, the number of participants might have been in 4 digits, not in 3 digits. And so that is the trend. But क्या करेंगे यार, क्या करेंगे? we have to work hard, because these organizers, organizers, of course, I do not know all the names, but I think Akoli, not Arohi Akolkar, I doubt that I might have taught her in her first year. And this boy now, I think Urmik Bhav sir also I remember his face. So these students, na, actually I am confident they can bring a change, because these people are interested in our Indian culture. And these SPIC MACAY volunteers, they are all interested in our Indian culture, Indian traditions, all these things. So please, I request our student volunteers, please conduct programs by, of course, calling the eminent artists that is there. But we need not depend only on that, because let us spread awareness by ourselves. First, I um, I walk on the campus in the evenings, and even in the late evenings. Then I find that there is a dire need for maintaining our Indian culture, because I see so many couples in the campus moving here and there, and even not respecting the teachers also, not respecting elders. So where we are leading, and technically, finally, after getting the degree, one may be technically sound, one may be technically intelligent, and one may do wonders technically. But what about the character? What about the character? That is equally important, or I say much more important than this. Much more important than this. That one should develop. So through Speak Make programs, we should not restrict ourselves to only classical music. We should concentrate on that other part also, that preserving the Indian culture and maintaining it and taking it forward. And I hope our student volunteers of Speak Make SVNIT chapter, they take my words and they take the necessary steps in this direction. With this, I welcome all of you, and I hope you will all enjoy the musical concert by our Ustad Alam Khan Ji. And a very good morning to all of you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Further, I'd request Arun Bharat Ramji to share few words with the audience. Arunji, would you please share a few words?
Thank you very much for SNIT to have hosted this program. It's Thank you very much for having arranged this program. I'm delighted that Ustad Alam Khan is being presented by you. He is a young artist, an extremely well-known artist, more so abroad than in India, because he's lived all his life in America. But we are trying to get him to come and spend more time in India and give concerts in India. And I do hope that your institution will also invite him when he's in India next time. It will be a great opportunity for you to listen to him in person. And I look forward to that. And please also, you have my full support. SPIC MACAY has always had my support, but I want to also give my good wishes to institutions like SNIT, which are very active in the SPIC MACAY system. And I definitely hope that you will continue to put forward your best foot to promote Indian classical arts, whether it is music, dance, or any other form. I wish you all the very best, and my best wishes to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to thank Dean Student Welfare of SPNIT, Dr. Ravikant sir, for being here with us today. Sir, I would like to request you to share a few words and to welcome the audience. Ravikant sir, if you could please share a few words.
Yeah, good morning. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So, good morning to all of you. Our director, Professor R.V. Rao ji, today guest of the function, Ustad Alam Khan Ji, Sri Eman Hashimi Ji, Sri Arun Bharat Ram Ji, founder of SRF Limited, the state coordinator of SPIC MACAY, state coordinator of SPIC MACAY, Sri Amit Rai Ji, faculty chairman of SPIC MACAY SVNIT Surat chapter, Professor Upna Dalal Ji, co-chairman of Dr. P.V. Bhale Ji, Dr. Rasika Davese Ji, student coordinators of this function and their team. I welcome all of you in this particular program, and I can see that such programs we had many programs we had already organized into the past into the offline mode. It is always good to see that the SPIC MACAY SVNIT Surat is doing lot of effort to bring such programs to our institute, supported by the state coordinator and various well-wishers of the SPIC MACAY, like we have Shri Arun Bharat Ramji. As of the culture and the music is there, our country is having the variety of cultures and the musics available, and the effort of this SPIC MACAY is wonderful in doing all such type of activity, because if SPIC MACAY is not been there, so we would not have been opportunity to hear about the Alam Khan Ji, Sri Imam Hashimi Ji and all. As far as this pandemic is there, certainly when the things will be relaxed, we wanted to hold such programs into our campus, because when physical presence of the artist is there at the campus, at least it generates the vibration into the ecosystem of SVNIT. There are a lot of movements are there, and we feel that some programs is going to be happened and all. As of now, this chapter is there, it is doing well into the SVNIT, and the faculty chairman and the co-chairman and student volunteers, supported by our director and the institute, they are doing hard work and bringing many programs, and hope this particular chapter in future also they will conduct the program into the offline mode. So best wishes to again, and thank you for our eminent guests to be present in this particular function. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the presence of Eman Hashimi Ji, who will be accompanying Ustad Alam Khan Ji on Tabla today. Next, I would like to invite Chairperson of SPIC MACAY SVNIT, Dr. Upena Dalal ma'am, to share a few words to address the audience.
Thank you, Arohi. Good morning, one and all. Thank you, each and every one of you, and especially Director Sir and dignitaries from SVNIT and dignitaries outside SVNIT, Arun ji, Ashok ji, Amit ji, and the other students and my team members. It is my immense pleasure that SPIC MACAY SVNIT chapter has organized the first program of the year 2022, Swaranjali, the live concert of Sarod Vadan by Shri Ustad Alam Khan Ji. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere thanks to SPIC MACAY and my sincere appreciation to my very active student team to organize this event in a very nice, very systematic way. And I have seen, I'm witnessed that they are working since many days to make this event in a well organized form. The report of the activity presented in the beginning of the program, it reflects the activeness and activities and the contributions of our team. And this is my third year as a chairperson of SPIC MACAY SVNIT chapter, and I always enjoyed working with my team. So my first appreciation to my team, and always my sincere appreciation to my colleagues, Dr. Bhale sir and Dr. Mrs. Dhause, who always generously helped me coordinating the events of SPIC MACAY SVNIT chapter to shape to the best of it. I'm really so happy to have Ustad Alam Khan Ji with us. Sir, it will be our great privilege to listen to you live, and really we are fortunate enough to get you. I don't want to take too much of time. So very warm welcome to all of you in this pleasant morning of blossom, and let us swim in the beautiful waves of music. And I lastly should not forget to thank our authorities to provide us all the support to organize this program. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Sushma Jacob ma'am, Gujarat State Advisor of SPIC MACAY, Rashmi Malik ma'am, Director of SPIC MACAY, Mr. Amit Rai sir, Gujarat State Facilitator, Co-Chairperson of SPIC MACAY SVNIT, Dr. P.V. Bhale sir, Co-Chairperson of SPIC MACAY SVNIT, Dr. Rasika Dhause ma'am, for sparing their precious time and being here with us today. Thanks a lot, everyone. Before starting the concert, I request everyone to maintain the decorum of the event. Please do not unmute yourself in the middle of the concert. And if you have any questions in between the concert, then please do let us know in the chat section to Swaranjali questions. After the concert, we will discuss all the questions. Thank you. Now we will be starting the concert, and I hope you all enjoy it.
Namaskar, greetings everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to perform for you all and to work with a wonderful organization, SPIC MACAY. Again, the SVNIT Swaranjali chapter in India. Joining me this morning is Eman Hashimi on Tabla, which is wonderful to play with him after a long time. and to be able to play with tabla again instead of just alap jor jala, which I love, but I've been doing a lot for the last 2 years. So we're going to begin this morning's program with Rag Ahir Bhairav in a short alap, followed by a gut in Madhyalai teen tal, medium speed teen tal, followed by Drut fast teen tal. And we hope you enjoy. Thank you. second and final item, we will play Rag Sindhu Bhairavi with a short alap again, followed by Gut in Rupak Tal, 7 beats, and Drut Teen Tal again, fast Teen Tal. Thank you very much. It's a privilege and honor to perform for all of you, and hope to see you someday in person. Thank you.
રાખી દઉં છું અંદર ખાના કરી દઉં
What an enriching experience it was for all of us. We were in different zone. Now we will begin the interaction session with Alam Khan Ji. During the concert, we received many questions. Also, if any participants have any questions, kindly put their questions in chat box to Swaranjali questions. Also, all of our viewers are requested to put their camera on for better interaction. Our first question is from co-chairperson of SPIC MACAY, Dr. Rasika Dhause ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to request you to kindly unmute yourself and address your question to Alam Khan Ji.
Madam Professor
Ustadji, first of all, let me thank you for quite an interesting session. It was truly meditating kind of session. So my question to you is how Sarod distinguishes itself from other string instruments.
Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Namaskar, nice to see all of you. Thank you for listening, and SPIC MACAY for having me perform again. It was a pleasure and honor, and seeing all of you listening from across the globe. To answer your question, how Sarod is different than other instruments, there's so many reasons, but I can explain a little bit about the instrument for those that may not be familiar, if that's of interest. Yeah? Okay, so the Sarod is 25 strings. In this style, which is the Maihar style, which was created by my late grandfather, Acharya Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab, he modified the Sarod so it had more resonating strings and Jawari strings. So the older style of Sarod that you'll see that other Gharanas play still, like Shahjahanpur or Gwalior, this style does not have the Jawari strings and the same amount of resonating strings. That was my grandfather's innovation. So that's the style that we play of the instrument first off. It's fretless, so there are no frets like sitar or guitar, more like a violin in that sense. It's a, steel plate. Here is goat skin. Unfortunately, it's a non-vegetarian instrument for those out there, but it's for a good purpose. Anyway, so the other thing is there's a bell here. There's a tumba, which was also put by my grandfather as well. On sitar, they have like gourd. This is a brass one. It's added for kind of like a sonic sculpting a little bit. And we play with the jaba, which is a coconut shell plectrum. This is how we pick. Or on sitar, you'll see they'll use something called a mizrab. It's like a little cage that they put over one of their fingers, and they play like this. Sarod, you're plucking. We use the nails of our fingers to slide. So you'll see. If I don't use the nail, it will sound like this. So you can hear the difference. With the nails, so you can't, if you're doing the close instrument to this is the rabab, the Afghani rabab, and that instrument uses the pad of the fingers. But it also doesn't have a metallic plate, it's wood. And they have gut strings, or nowadays it's not gut, but. So you'll see that they have that nice resonance, and it's very pluck-like, percussive-like, but you don't have that sliding effect. So Sarod can do more of the Drupad, vocal kind of Drupad style, whereas an instrument like rabab is more percussion-oriented, and sustain is much less. So the Sarod is kind of thought of as, this is kind of outdated concept, especially in this day and age, but the Sarod is like the male and the sitar is like the female. But now it's like, who cares, whatever it is. Either sex can play either instrument. There have been some fantastic women Sarod players. And I think they just mean that the tone of it is more warm, middle, kind of bass middle, and sitar is more kind of high. So there's so many different reasons why this instrument is different, but I was hopefully trying to show you why, some of the reasons why it's unique.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, you have an interesting backdrop, and is it a virtual backdrop or it's actual room that you are sitting in? I don't.
No, this is my home. This is my, this is my
nice one, sir. So I can see a different kind of sarod on your right. So can you tell us something about it?
Sure. This is actually a dotar, so it's like a mini sarod. It has none of the jawari or tumba or jawari strings. This is like kind of like the model of the other sarod that other gharanas play, but a miniature version. It's a dotar. It's used more for like folk music and kind of, people usually play it with a strap, but I keep one of them for playing different kinds of projects that I work on, and I can tune it to a different key. And of course, this is an instrumental tanpura, and this picture behind me is a picture one of my friends who's an artist drew of my father, my late father, which says Swara Samrat Ali Akbar Khan. This title, Swara Samrat, was the title that my grandfather gave to my father. He was given many titles, Ustad being one of them, of course, but he never really cared for any of them. One day, after many, many years, when my father was older and my grandfather was much older, he said, "Come here, I want to tell you something." And my father thought, of course, he's going to be criticized for something, because my grandfather was very militaristic and tough, and his training of my father. But he said, "Today I'm going to give you a title, and I'm giving you Swarasa." That was the only one that mattered to him in his life. And my friend was on tour with my father many years ago, and this was actually taken from a photograph he took of my father sitting in Maihar, in the courtyard of our famous house in Maihar, where all of these great musicians were trained. And that is a drawing my friend did. He's a very talented artist.
That's a nice memory to cherish. Very nice. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Our next question is that what role does the sarod play in Indian classical music? We would like to have a historic aspect for that.
You say a historic aspect? Is that what you said?
Yes.
What role does the sarod play in Indian classical?
Yes, means origin of sarod and how its origin.
Yeah, well, there's different fields of thought on that. It's a big subject. Some people say that it came from rabab, like I was talking about, and they took off the wooden, they removed the wood plate and put the steel one on so that the rababias could learn Drupad. That's one thought. The other thought is that it came from an older Veena type instrument. So people used to say, my father included, the full name was Sarod Dayak Veena. So if you can see old depictions of lute-like instruments, hundreds and hundreds and maybe longer, I don't know, years ago on temples and carvings and stuff, of these type of instruments. So to say it came only from rabab is kind of silly. I think it came from the idea came from many different kinds of things. Instruments are very related, but if you look at rabab, you can see with the jaba, with the kind of percussive plucking and style, I mean, it's very similar. So I'd say it's very kindred to that. But then again, how do these other instruments sound? They could be like Sarod as well. So I don't really know. People always debate this kind of thing. I stay out of it. I say, whatever it is, I have it in my hand, and I have to try and learn to play it. But it's very important to my family, and I'd say that my father, for me, is the one that really kind of gave the sarod a whole different dialect. You know, there was a lot of Sarod players before him, but when he got it, he created another vocabulary, if you will, for it. One that had so many different flourishes and intonations and touch and tonalities that were unique, and people had it. And I think that's why, one of the reasons people fell so in love with my father's music was his way of being able to depict so many different things and how versatile and dynamic his range was of playing. It was like speaking with someone. A human being has so many different ways of communicating, and their voice has so many different kinds of, you know, inflections, changes when they're speaking to like a mother or a father or a small child or a partner, whatever it is. Like that, music should always be having variation in the tonality. My father really ran the whole, I'd say, spectrum of all of it, but he could convey all those different kinds of emotions and feelings, and that was his, I think that was truly his unique power, I'd say.
Yes, sir. Means he was synonym for Sarod. We all. Sir, next question is from that how one can differentiate Hindustani classical and Carnatic music in instrumental concert.
Well, first off, the type of instrument they're playing will be one clue. Take an instrument like violin. That would be an instrument where you're not sure what's going to happen. If you see someone playing Sarod, it's not going to be Carnatic, you know. So in that sense, the violin is one of the things. I mean, sorry, the instrument is one of the things. And then other than that, it's just, you know, it's the same country, it's the same sargam, you know, it's the raga system, all this stuff, but the style is so different. You know, it's just, it's pretty interesting to have this within one, you know, country, have such different and such, you know, long histories and traditions that are there, and have them be so uniquely different. Why are they different? Well, if it's vocal music, there's the language, that's one thing, unless they're singing in sargam or akar or whatever. But the style interpretation of raga is one thing that's different. The composition type is different. The sections of playing are different. So many things are different. It's just like, you know, you eat Indian food, South Indian food, and then North Indian food, you'll see a unique difference, but it's still food. So like music, it's still music. But, you know, yeah, this is made from rice. Sure. This is made from dal. Sure. This is made from that. Yeah, but they're distinctly different. It's pretty special that these two styles can be very distinguishable and have such a long history. But it's the curvature of the notes, it's the emphasis, it's the raga, it's the sections. It's one other thing which you know people might not know is that Hindustani classical, North Indian classical is mostly orally taught. You know, it's a tradition that was taught by mouth and by memory, not so much by writing down, whereas Carnatic music has a very well documented history of things, and people can get a lot of answers to questions, and things are documented. North Indian music, it's a lot of like, well, from my teacher's teacher, or I think it's maybe something like, you know, it's that kind of thing. So there's a lot less documentation for North Indian style, which is, you know, a blessing and a curse, probably, like anything. So.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from our state coordinator, Maheshwari. Sir, I request you to unmute yourself and kindly ask the question.
Namaste, Ustad Ji. It was really nice to listen. You know, after a long time, I listened Sarod concert. So really thank you. And it actually what should I say, blossom today's evening, today's morning in India. So thanks for that. So my question to you is that in the journey of your sadhana or practicing this, can you just share with us an anecdote from your father? I mean, say when you're learning with your father and all. So any inspirational anecdote which will help our students, to more understand about this whole sadhana.
Oh, there's so many memories and stories of learning with him, and I still am learning from him, and just a lot of the things that he taught me, I wasn't mature enough at the time to grasp, or maybe I did on some level, but these are all kind of like seeds that the teacher is planting, and if you give it water, they'll blossom into something, much bigger, and it could be a tree that takes many, many, many years to grow. So you might see a few things, but many years down the line, something may pop in your mind, and you finally understand something because that tree is finally grown into something. So that's what he did for me, just planting so many seeds, and I am constantly learning from that, and he's like my lighthouse, my guiding light. You know, music to him was not an entertainment kind of thing, which it is for a lot of different styles of music in this world, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the kind of it's the kind of feeling that goes into it. People want to dance, people want to feel a certain way. There's fashion associated, there's imagery and all these different things where you're trying to impress, entertain, etc., that stuff. My father was never that kind of musician. He always made the distinction between entertainment and not. And like I said, I listen to all kinds of different music, and I always have, and there's nothing wrong with all of the different styles of music. Sure, enjoy them, but know the difference and take the time to listen to the type of music like Indian classical or something like that, where you have to sit with the music and be patient and let it unfold in this age that's so fast paced. We want something in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's like 3 minutes, that's way too long. So how can you get through anything in Indian classical music? 3 minutes is, although back in the old days on the 78 RPM vinyl that they used to have, all the recordings were 3 minutes long, and these, including my father, used to play ragas in 3-minute durations, which was amazing. But there's so much more that you can experience, obviously, if you give the time. So that's one thing. This music teaches you to not get swept away with the modern age where it's just like fast, 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 fast. Come back to yourself. Come back to, the things that have been here for a long time. Nature, music, your own, these kinds of things. This music teaches you to sit with that. So that's important. And it's about your spirit and your soul and connecting to something that's higher, whatever you want to call it. My father used to say, this music is the fastest way to reach God. What he says is God, Not everybody believes in God, that's fine. People believe in different gods, that's fine. But to reach the cosmos, the energy that's in there, whatever it is, Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, Buddhist, Jewish, whatever, reaching the supreme, the high power, and that's what this music was for. So obviously if you're putting on like a dance song that's a pop song, it's not going to connect. Maybe you feel so much exhilaration, endorphin, the dopamines, that you feel so good and connected, and that's special, and that's a glimpse of it. But maybe want to go deeper and hold that kind of thing, and this is the kind of music that can do it. There's a lot of power in it. And my father would say that would play for him something sometimes, and he would say, I used to love listening to his old recordings, or very romantic recordings, Manj Kamaj, all these recordings he made very popular with Pandit Ravi Shankar and him and Nikhil Banerjee, all these duets. And I would play these phrases. I would listen to his old, recordings, and he would, as an older man, look at me and say, "You're playing for the girl in the audience. You should play for God." And that took me for, I was like, I'm not necessarily trying to play for a girl. There's nobody here. I'm playing for you, Baba. But, that kind of thing of everything being so romantic and trying to ooh and ah and all this stuff. He's like, but he'd already, and he'd done that, but he'd grown so much. And this is when he's an older man, and he obviously was thinking with that mind state that it's about connecting to that higher thing. So play for that and go inward. It's like a temple, So it's very profound and deep. But, other people play very flashy and they like that too. So it is what it is. But if you give it time, it will empower you very much.
Thanks for bringing that element of, having a pause in this fast life. I mean to say, we are overburdened with information and the fast pace. So thank you, Sajji, for that. Urmik, I'll just take one more minute. So we have Arunji also with us. Namaste, Arunji, and I would like if you can maybe share something based on your journey as well to our students.
My journey of music began with Alam's grandfather, Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab. He used to come and stay in my grandfather's house, and my mother was a student of his. And so I actually got inspired by seeing him and talking with him. And the amazing thing was, when I used to talk to him, he used to turn into my age. And so the conversations we used to have were like, he was like in his 60s or 70s, but we used to talk like we were friends. And of course, the music, and he used to teach a lot of students music in our house, including Alam's father, including Ravi ji, including Nikhil Banerjee, everyone. Many of them learned some of the music in my grandfather's house. So I would say, immersed in music, and particularly in the Mahyar Gharana from my childhood. And so I think I was blessed by the fact that Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab used to come, and he used to stay with us for months at times. And so that is what made me love Indian classical music, and particularly the Dhrupad style of the Mahyar Gharana. And I had stopped playing sitar. I learned largely from Pandit Ravi Shankar Ji. I had stopped playing about 20 years ago, but then I started again at something like 10 years ago. And I am now 81, so but I still enjoy playing. And whenever I meet Alam, I sit with him and try to learn something from him, because whether in the Gharana system, all the musicians who come are my guru. So even though I may not have learned formally from Ali Akbar Ji, his father, but I picked up so much from him. I picked up so much from Alam. I picked up so much from Nikhil Banerjee. I picked up so much from all the musicians of our Gharana. And I try to stick to the music of our Gharana. But there is nothing wrong from learning from other Gharanas also. I think this is one of the things that we should all recognize, Music is music. And if there is something beautiful in other gharanas, there is no harm in picking that up also and inserting it and imbibing it in your own music. So I would say that's my journey of music. And I've been very fortunate that I've been a businessman, but at heart I've been a musician.
Yeah, so thank you very much, sir. And I just learned that age is no bar. I would say at the age of 71, you again started playing sitar. It's really fantastic, and that actually, create a curiosity among ourselves that okay, we should not, leave all these things which are really very important in our life. So, thank you for guiding us, and thank you, Ustadji, for your words, sir. Over to you, Urmi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit sir. Thank you, Arun sir. Ustadji, going to our next question from Soumya. As we talked about Gharana, which Gharana of music do you represent?
My Gharana is called the Maihar Gharana. So was established by my late grandfather after he settled in Maihar and was the court musician for the Maharaj there. That's where it got its name. And my father, Pandit Ravi Shankar, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, Srimati Annapurna Devi, my aunt, Pandit Panalal Ghosh, a lot of musicians, they all represented the Maihar Gharana and popularized it the most, I'd say, around the world. It's the most popular Gharana for the longest time because of my father and Pandit Ravi Shankar.
Thank you, sir. And now,
if I may just add to what Alam said, Baba Alauddin Khan Sahab had learned from many gurus, and his the final learning was from Ustad Wazir Khan Sahab, who was a beankar from Rampur, and they used to call it the Rampur Gharana. But since Baba had learned from so many different gurus, and he picked up the Drupad from Wazir Khan Sahab, and then he developed the style which became the Maihar Gharana. And it was unique because he had learned from so many different musicians. And he had imbibed different aspects from different gurus. And that's why it's not the Rampur Gharana, but it is really the Maihar Gharana.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable information. Ustadji, next question is from my side, that are all Shrutis played under Sarod, or it is defined on 12 swars only?
Well, you have your main 12 notes, but of course, everything is played by mean, by sliding. Everything is played. But it's same as vocal, same as the other instruments. But you're not holding all of these shrutis, all in mean and andalin. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Then one question from Veer, that sir, can you please play your favorite music on Sarod for all of us?
I don't even know how I would do that. You just saw my concert, so that's my favorite music. My favorite raga. I'm not really a man of favorites. Let's say that. I'm a person that has many different moods. Just like I like lots of different kinds of foods and I like different places. At a certain time, you like that. So I've never really cared for favorites, but as you heard, I just played everything on the Sarod, but I do a lot of other kinds of music on the Sarod as well. So it's my vehicle, let's say, for communicating with all different kinds of cultures and styles of music. And it's an old instrument that I'm bringing into modern times as well, as if my father carrying on his message and my grandfather's message, and using that instrument as a voice, as if they were still alive, interacting with this world, not just playing classical music only, but trying to further the reach and the possibilities of the instrument. That's something I also feel is important, which I do. But of course, classical music is the lighthouse. It is my heart. It is my foundation. It is what everything else, comes out of.
Thank you, sir. The next one is little bit technical from my side only. That you have played Ahir Bhairav. I have not learned that rag, but I want to ask that I felt that it was mixture of Bhairav with Kafi or Khamaj. That was a little confusing for me.
Ahir Bhairav and other Narana styles, they don't use the pancham, like that. So my father's style of playing this, this raga will go ma da ni re, like that, sarega ma da ni re. But my father would also go gamapa, mapa dapa, mapa dani dapa, sarega mapa dani. Sometimes I see like all these different styles. So that version of Ahir Bhairav I'm playing is the way that he used to play. But he also sometimes, so I would say this is a certain type that you could play like that. Even some lines you'll see reminiscent of Kamaj, like you're saying, some of these
that's right.
Arpeggios and certain lines that I like to play because of kind of as an ode to certain recordings that he played that I always just really loved and felt and kind of enchanted by. But that's the thing I would say is that the style that he played utilized more pancham and things like that, whereas other people, they didn't touch as much at all. So
thank you, sir. Last question from our side. Why should one inculcate the practice of listening or practicing classical music, or should adopt in daily life?
Sorry, I didn't understand exactly. Can you say it again?
Why one should inculcate the practice of listening classical music or practice of classical music in daily life?
How do they do that? You're saying how do they?
Means why? What is the reason to keep it in daily life? Means why classical? Because today is a orientation for freshers also. So how one can explain to the youths that what's the importance of classical music?
It depends on the way you're looking at it. I'd say that there's a certain level of needing to maybe mature one's ears and listening to it, especially if they're used to fast-paced 3-minute songs, pop songs, Bollywood, whatever you want to call it. Classical music, like I was saying before, makes you have to just sit and be still, or not sit, you can listen to it in the car, but it means that you have to sit with something musically, reading a book or doing this or that. You have to be present and listen to the music and let it do its thing, take you on a journey. It's not a fast, quick, instant gratification type of thing. Although some people hear it right away and get it. And it's like maybe they liked it in the past life, who knows? Other people, it takes them a while. Other people, they fall asleep. It's boring. I was a child, I used to get sleepy and fall asleep in my father's concerts. I missed so many concerts. I'd wake up during the jala because I was asleep during a lot of great things. I'd say one of the first things for Indian music that you can know it's working is that it makes someone feel relaxed. So if that's the first way you can understand it, and that it makes you feel relaxed and you go to sleep, then that's not a bad thing. Then when you get past that point and start to see what's happening musically, and you go with it and you stay with it and you focus on it, like then you start to see all of this magic that's in the music and how much power is in those notes and the intention of what you're playing. There's a lot of power to be harnessed. That's the thing my father used to always kind of express, the feeling and power that you can have by doing this correctly. And I'm all for innovation and for changing things and doing stuff, whatever. But I'm also for finding a true guru, a good teacher that knows how to harness that, because there's something about the old traditions that way they did it unlocked a certain kind of magic. So to just go like, oh, I forget about these old people. Let's make it modern. Let's make it. That's fine. That's evolution. That's this and that. But you have to maintain that thread back to that and pay respect to it, and actually not just say that, but go there with it and spend the time and worship that in a way, because there's a power in that music from our ancestors, elders and stuff like that. And I just think, like I was saying before, it is something that helps you. What my father used to say is, this kind of music will make you a better person, just simply to put it like that. How can you play this kind of music and have like a dark heart, things like that? He says it will purify your heart and your soul and make you a more compassionate, loving person to your fellow man, woman, animal, whatever, nature, whatever it is. That's the kind of thing that we need on this planet. And I know for myself personally, I'll be in a certain mood, or this, or bad mood, or stressed out, or angry, or frustrated, or whatever it is. And then when I'm playing music, a lot of the time, I feel quite different after I finished it. I feel kind of changed in a way. But then again, you could also do that with anything that you're passionate about, if you're focusing on something else. But I think that music, music for me, I notice the kind of beneficial, almost medicinal qualities of it. It makes me feel like I'm the best person, the best version of myself when I'm doing this kind of music. So I think that's that power in the music right there. So whether you play it or you listen to it, just make sure you have good music. You have good people in your life, good music in your life, good food in your life, good nature in your life. All these things are important. Love and these kinds of things. And that's what music is.
Thank you, sir. It was pleasure talking to you.
Sorry to interrupt, Urmik. I would like to ask one thing to Ustad Ji. Sir, how do you choose your disciples? How do you choose your students?
Nowadays, choosing students is a luxury, I'd say. That was the time of my grandfather, or probably his time, because nowadays to find people that want to study Indian music and dedicate themselves is not very common. It's kind of rare. And to find someone that's not doing it as just a hobby is extremely rare. To find someone that actually wants to become an Indian classical musician, or have that be their life, devote the riyaz, the many years of practice and all that stuff. For me, it's kind of like I give everybody a chance to see, and I will teach anyone, but I can tell pretty quickly whether this person has it or not, that they're going to be a classical performer or actually have a shot at doing that kind of thing. I can tell pretty quickly. But I will never discourage anyone, because this kind of music, like I was saying, we need to keep it alive, as my father would always say, and we need people playing it, listening to it, loving it, sharing it. It needs to stay alive on this planet. So that's important. And if someone has a full-time job, which is most people, and they want to play music for their enjoyment, for their own life, for their own peace, for their own musical contentment, whatever it is, I'm going to be there to support that. But I also know what I'm going to teach and what I'm not going to teach, and what makes sense, because you can give it. My father would put it this way. He said, I'm like a well. And he had all of his students in class. He would teach these big classes where people would learn together. And he'd say, you can come and fill your bucket with water as much as you can carry, but how big is your bucket? Today it's not very big, obviously, so go home and practice. He's like, I'm just like full of water, but your bucket's this big. So pay attention, practice, work hard, give me energy so I can give you energy. So I think it's a reciprocate. I think it's when the student is giving me energy and inspiration, then I want to give more. But if they're like, and if it's ever like, oh, it's a chore, I mean, usually with children, that would probably be that kind of person. Otherwise, I'd say if you're older, why are you wasting your time? But if you're a child, it's like, oh, maybe your mom and dad is making you do it. It's like, okay, well, just, play this, play that, practice that, just keep the seeds. I'm planting the seeds. Maybe they'll grow into something, and they'll want to continue learning. So choosing my students, I let anybody that wants to study have a chance to study. But I do sometimes reserve certain things I'm teaching unless I know they're capable or have the potential or can even understand what I'm trying to give. For other people, it's just not, they're just like, no, I'm not ready for that. So I don't give that kind of material. And I'm not naive to where I think this person is going to go. And I don't really like to be harsh, but I will be if they want me to be honest about it. What do you think about my playing? Oh, okay, you really want to know what I think about the playing? So I give everybody a chance, but not everybody is going to be an Indian classical performer, that's for sure. And even the really good performers, it's a hard life being a musician, of any form, and Indian classical music is no exception. So I'd say, like my aunt, Srimati Annapurna Devi, she learned music for her spiritual growth, her sadhana. My grandfather said, don't do this for money and for fame and for the public. Do this for your own practice. And she did that for the most part of her life. And it was a very kind of divine thing. So some people are entertainers, even in Indian classical. Some people take the other route. There's all kinds of things, extremes with it. So
thank you, sir. That was quite an elaborate answer, and I'm happy that you are very clear about what you said. I can relate this. Being in academics, I always tell my students that you are here to learn, and we will make you learn, and we are here to teach. So you make us teach. So it's a two-way process that that should happen usually. Thank you for your answer, sir. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ustadji. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude to Ustad Alam Khan Ji for letting us experience such a lively concert. I owe a special gratitude to all my fellow colleagues and senior volunteers of SPIC MACAY for their efforts to organize the event. I extend the heartfelt thanks to our sponsor, SRF Foundation, for their constant support, and once again I thank Mr. Arun Bharatram Ji for sparing his valuable time to be with us. I would like to take this opportunity to express gratitude to Director SPNIT Professor Venkata Rao, Deputy Director Professor LP Patel, Dean Students Welfare Dr. Ravikant Sir, and lastly our faculty advisor Dr. Upena Dalal ma'am, Dr. PV Bhale sir, and Rasika Dhause ma'am for their constant guidance and support. Before concluding, I would like to request our Rashmi Malik ma'am, Director SPIC MACAY, to share a few words at end of the session on the beautiful note.
Rumik, I think she dropped. Rashmiji, are you there? I think she dropped. Rumik, you can continue.
Okay. Finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making the time to be with us today and helping us to make this event a grand success. Before concluding the event, I request everyone to kindly spare some time to fill the feedback form which has been uploaded in the chat section. Also, if you want to be the part of SPIC MACAY, we are going to conduct interviews on 16th of February for freshers. Do follow us on all the social media handles for more updates. Once again, I thank you each and everyone present over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Saji, and thank you the whole SVNIT team for such a wonderful event. Namaste to all of you and have a blissful day ahead.
Thank you, all of you.